The wedding hall sparkled with golden lights, filled with guests dressed in their finest clothes. Everyone whispered about the bride, a woman named Elena, who entered with quiet grace. She wore a simple gown, not as extravagant as many expected, and her calm smile was met with cold stares from the groom's family. They had assumed she came from an ordinary background, and their words soon revealed their disdain. The groom's mother leaned close to her sisters and whispered loud enough for Elena to hear. "Look at her dress. It doesn't even shine. My son deserves better than this plain girl." Snickers followed, and the relatives nodded in agreement. Elena kept her composure, her eyes steady, but she felt each insult pierce like a blade. As the evening went on, the remarks only grew sharper. "She doesn't even know which fork to use," one aunt sneered at the dinner table. "Our family's reputation will fall if this is the kind of woman he marries." Elena sat silently, her hands folded, listening to their cruel words. They thought they were mocking a powerless woman. The groom himself did nothing to defend her. Instead, he joined in, chuckling when one cousin said, "She looks like she belongs in a village, not in our family." Elena felt her heart grow heavy, but behind her calm eyes, a fire of resolve began to burn. She knew something none of them did. For Elena was not the ordinary woman they believed. She was the sole heir to her grandfather's empire, a fortune worth $950 million. She had lived quietly, keeping her wealth a secret, choosing love over status. But now she realized that the man she thought loved her and his family only valued appearances and money. As the night continued, Elena excused herself. She walked outside into the cool air, her mind clear. She would not let herself be humiliated by people who had no idea of her true worth. She had given her heart freely, but they had trampled on it. And now she decided she would take it back, with dignity and revenge. She returned to the hall, her face calm, her steps steady. "I have something to say," she announced. The music stopped, and the crowd turned to her. Even the groom smirked, expecting a timid apology. But Elena's voice was strong. "You have mocked me, insulted me, and treated me as though I am beneath you," she said, her eyes sweeping over the room. "You judged me not by my character but by the simplicity of my gown and my silence. But let me make one thing clear, I will not marry into a family that knows no respect." Gasps echoed through the hall. The groom stepped forward, trying to save face. "Elena, don't be dramatic. You're lucky to even be standing here with me." His arrogance only confirmed her decision. She smiled coldly, then said, "Actually, it is you who are unlucky." With that, she pulled out a small folder from her bag. It contained documents that proved her inheritance. "While you saw me as nothing," she continued, "I am the heir to a fortune of $950 million. I kept it hidden because I wanted to be loved for who I am, not for my wealth. But you have shown me the truth. You don't deserve me." The groom's family went pale, their mocking smiles replaced with shock and regret. The groom's father stammered, "Wait, Elena, perhaps we misjudged." But Elena raised her hand to silence him. "No. You revealed your true selves. And my answer is final." With grace, she removed the engagement ring and placed it on the table. "Keep your pride," she said softly, "for it is all you have left." Then she turned and walked out of the hall, leaving behind stunned silence. Outside, her car was waiting. As she stepped inside, her heart felt lighter than it had in months. She had lost a man who never truly valued her, but she had gained something greater, freedom and self-respect. And she knew her revenge was complete, for nothing stung more than the realization of what they had thrown away. Inside the hall, the groom's family sat in humiliation. The whispers of guests turned against them, for everyone now knew they had mocked the very woman who could have elevated them beyond their dreams. Instead, through their arrogance, they had destroyed everything. Meanwhile, Elena drove away into the night, her future wide open. She promised herself she would never again let anyone measure her worth by appearances. She was strong, wealthy, and independent, and her revenge was not in anger, but in walking away with dignity. And as she looked out at the city lights, Elena smiled. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge was simply proving that you never needed them at all.